Today we are going to discuss about the chapter cell, and this chapter is from the ninth class. So why we are studying the cells? As you know, life exists only in the form of the cells. As there are different type of living organisms on the earth which will vary in their shape, their size, their development and their hydrogen. So this is the cell only that will differentiate from living and non-living. Because all living organisms are made up of cell, and this cell is absent in the non-living organisms. So we can say the basic unit of the living organisms is the cell. So what is the definition of the cell? Cell is the structural, functional and basic unit of the life. Why it is called so? It is known as the structural unit of the life because it will make the structures, outer structure of the, or phenotype of the living organisms. Like why it is known as basic unit of the life? As you can take the example of a house. What is the basic unit of the house? Is the brick, because bricks are arranged one upon the another and they will form the different designs in the housing. In the same way, cells are arranged in a systematic way in the body of the living organisms and give the different shapes and structures to living organisms. Now question arises, why it is called the functional unit of the life? Because it will perform all the basic functions like respiration, expiration and circulation which is required for the living organisms. So it will differentiate the living from non-living. First cell was observed by a scientist known as Robert Hooke in 1665 in the slice of cork, and cork belongs to the plants. Then he observed some compartment-like structures in the cork and he gave the name honeycomb-like structures to those compartments. So at that time, he observed some dark outline outside that was the cell wall and the dense structure in the center of the cell that was the nucleus. So, but now question is, alone cell perform the basic functions. In some simpler organisms like bacteria, it is enough that cell will perform all the functions. But if we will discuss about the multicellular organisms like we, it is not possible. So cells are arranged together in a systematic way. When a same type of cells which perform some specific functions will arrange, they will make the tissues, and specific type of tissue which are performing same functions will make the organ like heart and lungs. And organ system along with these accessory parts like in the circulatory system, heart and blood vessels will make the, and blood will make the circulatory system. So organ system like the respiratory system, expiratory system, circulatory system. These organ systems organize together and perform some mutual functions and make a organisms. So organisms are divided into two categories on the basis of number of cells. The organisms which have made up of one cell are known as unicellular organisms. Example, bacteria. And the organisms which are made up of more than one cells are known as the multicellular organisms. Example, humans. So some discoveries are given here about the cell. Robert Brown discovered the nucleus of the cell in 1831. F. Fontana discovered the nucleolus of the cell in 1781. J. E. Purkinje discovered the protoplasm in 1831. A. V. Leeuwenhoek observed the living cell first time under the microscope, and Alfonso Corti studied about the living matter of the cell. As you know, in our body also there are some non-living parts like our hairs and our nails also. In the same way, inside the cell some living and non-living matter are also there. So Alfonso Corti observed the living matter inside the cells in 1772. So when we can say we can divide the organisms on the basis of number of cells, they are divided into unicellular and multicellular organisms. Thank you. Okay students, as I have told you, organisms are divided on the basis of their cell numbers. Some are unicellular and some are multicellular. So we can divide the organisms into two categories. One is prokaryotes and second is eukaryotes. Prokaryotes are the unicellular organisms. As the name indicates, prokaryotes. Pro means before and karyotes means nucleus. So prokaryotes are the organisms which were evolved on the earth before the formation of the nucleus in the organisms. So that's why they are called the prokaryotes. And on the other side, eukaryotes, that means when the nucleus is formed in the organisms, in the cells. So there are two categories on the basis of number of cells of the organisms. One is prokaryotes and second is eukaryotes. Prokaryotes are the unicellular organisms which are made up of only one cells. Eukaryotes are the multicellular organisms made up of more than one cells. So these are smaller in the size. Prokaryotes are smaller in the size, so they cannot be observed by directly naked eyes. So it means we need the microscope to observe these type of organisms. So we can say these are microscopic in nature. Why? Because their size is mainly range from 1 to 10 micrometer in the size, in the range. So and the eukaryotes, these are large. We can see the size of the cell. So if we will discuss about the cell of the eukaryotes, the cells of the eukaryotes is larger than the size of the prokaryotes. It means size range from 10 to 100 micrometer in the size. So next will be, if we can say prokaryotes are smaller in size, so their components will be according to their size only. So prokaryotes have 70 S-type ribosomes and eukaryotes have 80 S-type ribosomes. What do you mean by S here? S means sedimentation coefficient. What do you mean by sedimentation coefficient? Sediment coefficient is the coefficient that will measure the density or the mass of the organelle on the basis of their weight, on which it will settle down on the substrate or the medium or on the any earth or any material. So these have 70 S-type ribosomes and eukaryotes have 80 S ribosomes, because these are larger in size, so that's why size of the ribosomes is greater than the prokaryotes. If we will see the next characteristics, we can say prokaryotes do not have the nuclear membrane over the genetic material. You know already that DNA and RNA is the genetic material of the organisms. But that DNA or RNA is covered by the membrane or not, on the basis of that these are also separated. So prokaryotes do not have nuclear membrane over the genetic material, while as eukaryotes have nuclear membrane over the genetic material. So these do not have nuclear membrane. That is why they are called nucleoid. 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 And these have the nuclear membrane over the genetic material. That is why they are called they have the nucleus. So genetic material is covered by the nuclear membrane, that is the nucleus. So they have the nucleoid. Next, prokaryotes have the single chromosome, while the eukaryotes have different number of chromosomes. That means 2, 4, 6. In the human being, there are 23 pair of chromosomes. That means total are the 46 in the human beings. And one more important characteristic, that is the plasmid. Yes, this plasmid is only found in the prokaryotes, do not found in eukaryotes. What is the role of this plasmid in the prokaryotes? Yes, plasmid is the extra chromosomal part of the DNA. That means definitely they have the nucleoid, but extra, other than the nucleoid, they also have the plasmid, which will help in the antibiotic resistance. That means some microbes are showing the resistance to specific antibiotics. That is only due to the presence of the plasmid, and this plasmid is not found in the eukaryotes. So example of the prokaryotes are the bacteria, cyanobacteria, mycoplasma, and eukaryotes, both plants and animals. Further, these eukaryotes are divided into two categories, plants and animals. So we will distinguish here between the plants and animals, or we can say plant and animal cell also. So plants have the cell wall outside, that is made up of cellulose, hemicellulose, and animals do not have cell wall. That means they have the cell membrane that will separate the internal as well as the external environment. Second, plants have large set vacuole in the cell. One third part of the plant cell is only covered by the sep vacuole, and that will also help in the floating. That is why it will make the less density, or we can say provide a vibrancy to the plant cell also. Next, in the animals, some small sep vacuole if present. Next, plants have plastids. What are the plastids? Plastids are classified into three categories. One is chloroplast, leucoplast, and chromoplast. These we will discuss in the chapter in detail. But these plastid, you can say one example is the chloroplast. That will give the green color to the plants, and that chloroplast also have the chlorophyll pigments. So these plastids are present in the plants, while as plastids are absent in the animals. These plastids also help in the formation of the food and storage of the foods in the plants. Next is the contractile vacuole. Plants have contractile vacuoles. That is why they can sometimes they can vary in the shapes also. And animals, no contractile vacuoles are present. Plants have glyoxysomes, while as glyoxysomes are absent in the animals. Plants, what I'm saying, in the plants, nucleus is pushed on one side. That means it is not present in the center. Nucleus of the plant cell is present on one side towards the membrane. Why? Due to the presence of the sep vacuole that will push that nucleus in one side. While as in animals, nucleus is present in the center of the cell because animals do not have large size sep vacuole. So after that we can say what is the structure of prokaryotes and the eukaryotes. So we will study now. Thank you. Students, as you know, organisms can be divided into two categories. One is prokaryotes and second is eukaryotes. And already we have done the difference between prokaryotes, eukaryotes, plants and animals. So today we will discuss about the structures of the prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell. So this is the structure of prokaryotic cell. As you know, bacteria is the example of prokaryotic cell. So this is the diagram of bacterial cell. As you can see here, there are three layers. 1, 2, 3. These are the cell coats of the bacteria, and outside the coats there is the black and red lines. That where black line will indicate the pili and red line will indicate the cilia. So what is the function of cilia and pili? They will help in the movement of the bacterial cell. And outside, one is major outgrowth is there, that is the flagella. Flagella help in the locomotion of the bacterial cell. If you will see inside of the bacterial cell, these are the mesosomes which will help in the respiration. This is the nucleus, that is the genetic material of the bacteria. And if you say this food-like structure is known as the cytoplasm, where all organelles of the bacterial cell will be found. All organelles, it does not mean mitochondria, Golgi body and ribosomes, because these cell organelles are absent in prokaryotic cells and mainly found in the eukaryotes. These are the ribosomes. Ribosomes help in the protein formation or protein factory. So this is the diagram. These three layers are: outer is the capsule, middle is the cell wall, and this is the cell membrane. So outside is the capsule, middle one is the cell wall, and in the side is the cell membrane. So this is the structure of a prokaryotic or the bacterial cell. Now you can see here, these are the eukaryotic cells. That means this is the plant diagram of the plant cell, and this is the diagram of the animal cells. Plant cell, you already know that plant cell have the outer covering is the cell wall. So this outer layer is known as the cell wall, inner layer is known as the cell membrane. Cell wall mainly provide the protection to the plant in the extreme conditions or from the external environment. Or cell membrane, which will help in the selectively passing of the material into the cell. This is the cell sap that is covered by one layer that is known as the tonoplast. In the one side there is the nucleus that have the chromosomes. Above the nucleus, this is the ER, endoplasmic reticulum, and above the ER you can see black dot-like structures. These are known as the ribosomes. So ribosomes are present over the ER. So that ER which have the ribosomes are known as rough endoplasmic reticulum, and ER which do not have the ribosomes are known as smooth endoplasmic reticulum. And main function of RER is the protein formation, and main function of smooth endoplasmic reticulum is the lipid synthesis. So there are different functions performed by the different cell organelles. So now you can see here red structure. These are known as the plastid. Plastid, whose main function is to make the food, to store the food, like the chloroplast and the chromoplast, which is mainly found in the plant cell. And this dotted structure is known as the cytoplasm. These are the chromosomes found in the nucleus, and this is the Golgi body. So many times this question arises in the mind of the students: why always Golgi body lies near the ER? You just think, what is the function of ER? Protein synthesis. But that protein synthesized by the cells cannot be used by the body immediately. It means it will be transformed into different structures. And after the formation of this protein, it will pass into the Golgi body, where packaging and modification of the proteins will be done. That is why only Golgi body lies near the ER. So this is the structure of the plant cell, where most of the part is covered by the sap vacuole. Sap vacuole that will store the waste of the cells. Now this is the structure of the animal cell, like us. Animal cell, these do not have cell wall, that means these have only cell membrane. These have nucleus in the center that contain the chromosomes. In above the nuclear membrane, these are the ER, that means endoplasmic reticulum, that have the ribosomes. Same protein synthesis is main function. Mitochondria is here also, whose main function is, it is also known as the powerhouse of the cell, because mitochondria will make the energy for the working of the cell. So these are the mitochondria which will makes the energy. This dense fluid is known as the cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is the background fluid that will contain the whole cell organelles. And these small spherical structures is known as the secretory granules. And lysosomes are also there. Lysosomes are known as the suicidal bags. Why known as suicidal bags? Because whenever there will be an infection in the cells, at that time these lysosomes will release the lysozyme enzymes, and that lysozymes will cause bursting of the lysosomes or engulfing of the pathogens. So lysozymes that is secreted by the lysosomes will eat themselves. That is why they are known as the suicidal bags. In the same way, Golgi body lies near the ER for the packaging and modifications of the proteins. And this is the centrosome that is not found in the ER. So what is the difference? You can see cell wall is present here, but cell wall is absent here. Plastid is present over there, but plastid is absent here. You can see centrosomes are present here, but centrosomes are absent here. Cell vacuole that is large in size in the plants and it present smaller in the size. So these are the structures of the prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. Thank you, beta.